The idea that drinking a glass of wine a day is healthy for you is a pervasive myth that is based upon some really bad evidence and data that has actually been largely debunked by medical doctors and researchers. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And again, when I say this, I am always clear on this, that I truly believe that abstaining from alcohol is one of the best things we can do for our overall fitness and health, in addition to lifting weights and other things. And I'll go so far as to say that it's actually arguably, but I don't think arguably, worse than anything else that we're concerned with in our diet, ranging from saturated fat to refined sugars. Okay, all those things that in excess are a problem. The issue is that alcohol, even in moderation, has been shown to be problematic, even in tiny amounts. So, one of the big arguments people have is some of these studies showing that there could be health benefits to drinking a glass of wine a day. The problem with that is that these were, number one, very limited studies. Number two, all the best doctors have even pointed out all of those benefits from the polyphenols in that glass of wine that they're citing, you could get from eating grapes. In other words, it's not the wine that caused it, it's the fact that it's grapes. Okay, it's the grapes themselves that gave the minor health benefits. Okay, so we need to be clear on that. So if you go look at any of even the medical websites that cite this research, they point out, but this is just looking for a silver lining in the fact of drinking. And if you're going to drink any alcohol, that wine would probably be the best option out of all of them because it has these polyphenols and stuff from grapes. But we need to be clear, again, even those websites, when they review this, point out 100% of those benefits can come from grapes. So we need to be absolutely clear. It's not the wine, it's the fact that it's made from grapes. Okay? All right, full stop. All right, the same thing when people cite, the blue zone stuff, and I've seen other people point this out. Yeah, the issue with some of this is that there's problems with their age reporting testing in all those areas. So it's like, this region over here, they drink a fair amount of wine and they live long. Yeah, but in those same countries, it's been found there's problems with reporting age and birth certificates. So it's when you look at it more closely, we don't even have proof that they're necessarily living longer. Okay? So you've got correlational data with bad data gathering combined with some other things. And this is kind of one thing people point out with some of these diets and blue zone stuff. And I have to admit that when even I've cited blue zone stuff, that you could make that argument for some of these other ones like Okinawans and stuff, but it's like, okay, but they're also in regions of the world where they're very physically active. They all walk a lot. They have good communities, families, okay? So let's be clear on that also. Does all the research show that being more physically active and people who walk more live longer on average? Yeah. Okay. Are these countries where there's no malnutrition to go with all that walking, so they're not third world countries? Yeah. So they'll go cite certain parts of Italy and stuff. It's like, but they walk a lot. They're very physically active. All right. Is that also correlated with longevity? Yeah. Yes. Undeniably. How about those same areas? They're known for their strong family bonds and community ties. Ooh, that's a big one. What does research show on longevity for the individual? That people with strong family bonds and community ties tend to live longer. Like when we're talking into that old age. So if you have regions that are well known for that, strong communities, strong family ties, multi-generational family ties, aren't you more likely to have more people who live longer? Okay, so we have other factors. So we could look at some of that and go, okay, there's other correlational things happening here. There's other stuff happening here. So you can't step back and say, they have good lifespans, but they drink a fair amount of wine in this region. So therefore, drinking wine is part of longevity. No, it could be all these other factors are the real factors, and it's just correlation. It's not causing it. Okay, so again, this is bad data. It's bad data. Again, particularly When you look at the certain factors and you find that that wine has the polyphenols. Then you look at these other factors in some of the studies, in the blue zone studies. There's not really evidence that the drinking wine is associated in any way with longevity or better health. There really isn't. There really isn't. Okay? But what do we do know about drinking even in moderation? We know that it causes cancer. I mean, that's a perfect example, right? Even in moderation, there's no safe amount of alcohol. That is the official research by the leading experts who look at cancers and carcinogens, that even 10 milligrams of alcohol a week, that's not a lot, guys. Go look at what's in a glass of wine. 10 milligrams a week is absolutely correlated with a very significant measurable increase in certain types of cancer. That's enough. That's enough in theory to potentially cause cancer. It's carcinogenic enough at even very small moderation amounts to potentially give you cancer. All right, that's not a good thing. So when people say this, they want to promote, well, we can have it in moderation because of these polyphenols, and these polyphenols are found to have this, and it's like, you could just drink wine. But the problem is people don't want to hear that because it's one of their vices. You know, and people love to be told good things about their bad habits, okay? People love to be told good things about their bad habits. And this is a perfect example of that. It's a perfect example. And it's literally a poison. And that is the other problem with it. Whatever other benefits might come from the things the wine are made out of, it's still a poison. It's still toxic. It still has a negative impact on your liver. You know, and we can argue, people say, well, moderation is not going to make you obese. True. Moderation is not going to make you an alcoholic. Moderation is not going to make you violent. Moderation, you're not going to have accidents. That's all true, and I'll agree with that. However, moderation is still toxic. Moderation is still linked with higher cancer rates. Moderation can still give you cancer. Okay? And these other minor benefits of the specific things don't outweigh that in the grand scheme of things. It's a myth. Because again, you could just eat a handful of grapes. You could eat some grapes every week. You could eat 20, 30 grapes every week and get 100% of the health benefits that people are talking about from this whole glass of wine thing. All of them, but without the ethanol in it, without the poison. So that makes it very, very much a myth. Okay, it's literally like saying, hey, we found a benefit to taking fish oil. So if you put little bit of gasoline in it and mix it with the fish oil, you're still going to be healthy. It's a healthy thing to consume. Okay, that's the level of logic we're using. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.